speak a little bit about like heart rate variability and how it relates to jiu-jitsu. I think people would be interested.
100%. It starts with valid and reliable technology. So that's number one. So you have to make sure that you have a good piece of tech, and you have to make sure that that tech is worn appropriately. Oftentimes you can have the best heart rate monitor and not have your chest strap on tight enough for a puller, for example. I use Whoop. And again, any movement is changing heart rate response. So when we wear tech to look at our heart rate and our heart rate variability, and we use it to inform our decision making, we just really have to make sure that we err on the side of caution with it, and we focus on getting quality tech first. With a lot of wearable technology, there can be variances. There's up to a 20% standard of error with your standard, Apple Watch or a Garmin. If you wear watches and it's too tight on my skin, I can't wear it. Yeah, that's not going to be the most valid. The more that the infrared sensor may have to move, the more variability, the less accurate, etc. And also, again, there's a lot. So for the average user, find good tech. Whoop, again, not affiliated with the business whatsoever. I've been a user for 3 years, and it has a 99.7% accuracy with heart rate and HRV. So you always go on that side and go for quality if you're going to use it to inform your decisions. When we move forward with it, what you want to do when you're using heart rate variability is an assessment of your nervous system on any given day. So a high heart rate variability is indicative of being in more of a parasympathetic rest and digest state. That means I'm going to be able to think clearer, like I mentioned, digest better. I'm more restful. I can think faster. I'm more recovered. A low HRV is indicative of a more sympathetically driven state, fight, flight, or freeze. So everyone you could look at age-related norms, but really the most important thing is N=1, looking at your own data over time. My HRV is wild compared to others. My 50% score on the Whoop would be like 190% score on someone else's. But the whole point is to look at your data and assess. Some days, and again, using tech can really derail people. So I always have these discussions with people to kind of hey, chill. If you get a red recovery or you get a low HRV, it just means, you have to look at the day or the 3 days before it can actually impact your HRV and your nervous system readiness for the day. That's your bucket. Higher HRV, bigger bucket. And notice that, hey, some red days, you may actually perform phenomenally well. I had a great day on the mats yesterday. I did back-to-back sessions in the morning. Usually I'm driving at 4:30 to get down to train. So I need to make sure that my morning is dialed in. So I get on the mats and everything is prepared the night before. I woke up with a 30% recovery score. That's a red zone. Does that mean that I completely flipped the script because my nervous system is not ready at this point in time? Not necessarily. So when we have low readiness, what that is just telling us is to just be more mindful of your actions throughout the day. Be more mindful of what you've done in the day or days prior. And this is why I love subjective reflection and why it's such a big part of our programs at the Durable Grappler. We have people doing daily wellness scores every morning. We have our members doing subjective rating of perceived exertion after jiu-jitsu. How hard was today? How did you feel technically and tactically? Did you feel fast? Did you feel smooth? Was it harder than you thought or easier? How many rounds did you perform? What was the volume and intensity? I love tracking that because the subjective, you doing your own wellness scoring throughout the day, if you gave yourself 5 questions and to scale of 1 to 5, how's my mood, my stress, my energy, my soreness this morning, that's going to be very, very consistent with HRV scores as well. So you're going to wake up, you're not going to feel ideal. That doesn't mean skip the day and just do nothing and chill. Only when it's a theme, that's when you start to be more aware and say, hey, the last 3 months, my HRV has been in the red zone. I've been lower. I'm trending downwards. I need to look at my lifestyle. That's when I need to make a change. Something acute. It's just, hey, your nervous system isn't optimal for today. It's not in the best readiness. Go to the mats anyways. Go to jiu-jitsu. Perform. And if you're wearing the monitor, wear it when you're performing and just see. Was today maybe a low day, right? I like to talk about high and low training. A high day is high volume, high intensity, or it could be high intensity, low volume, whatever. It's just like I'm working hard. I'm competitive. A low day might be specific training, drilling, flow rolling. If we actually know flow rolling, sometimes we say we're going to, it doesn't happen. It's like an intentional day. So go in and be like, yeah, today's my green light day. Today's the day I'm going to just go green. I'm going to like focus on specific training, sweep, pass, submit. Whoever gets a point first, I'm going to work on my De La Hiva. Hey, if you pass my guard, let's just reset. Let's figure out why did you pass my guard, use reflective practice. And then maybe it shows up better. Maybe you get in there and you're like, wow, I feel unreal. I had some honey toast. I'm feeling awesome. Like just go in, dig in. Right. So you want it. HRV is great. Looking at that and seeing like I had a green day today. I wore my heart rate monitor. And although I had a green day, my heart rate was still elevated higher than my normal green days. And that's when you start to know, okay, today, maybe I should really like when I get home, I'm going to practice mindfulness. Maybe I do 5 minutes of meditation. Maybe I take half an hour, 10 minutes away from my phone when I'd usually be doom scrolling. Figure out